It's been a busy week.
It has. Lots gotten through a lot since this time last week. Lots of rehearsals, and then obviously the presentation itself on Monday, and then the aftermath, and even the questions. Meeting people in the street, and the subsequent feeling about it. Everyone asking, so do we actually have a great chance, or what is it, or what's your take on it? So it's been pretty topical.
They're good questions. What is it? What's our chance? What do you think?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like, what I will say is that, so I've been involved with it for about 2 years, and I've sat on the board and I've listened an awful lot. I haven't said a huge amount. I suppose I've had some small inputs, and I realise I'm there for a particular role as well. When it comes to the publicity side of things, and then obviously my role at the weekend being the bid ambassador. The one thing we can say, having delivered on Monday, is that we have thrown the kitchen sink at it. We have done everything we possibly can. Both governments, the IRFU. Philip Brown was absolutely exceptional on Monday. With regard to the fastidiousness of the detail in which we've gone to, all the best experts have been drafted in. They haven't penny pinched, so we've given it as good a shot as we can. So if we aren't picked for whatever reason, you can hold your hands up. We'll be devastated, but we have thrown everything at it.
So on Monday, the presentation's made. What is your actual involvement on the day? Because obviously we see the press conference afterwards, really.
Yeah. So I'll give you a bit of a weekend run. So we had rehearsals on Saturday afternoon. Taoiseach gave us 2 hours of his time as well, came in. So we rattled through it, and then we flew first thing Sunday morning. Thought that was a little excessive to be getting on the 7:30 on Sunday, considering we had the whole day. Anyway, maybe that's actually where they did penny pinch. Maybe they were cheaper flights at 7:30. It got me thinking. So we went in, did more rehearsals straight away on the Sunday morning in our hotel, and then had lunch, and then went to the hotel in Kensington and rehearsed properly in the room.
Right.
With video, without. Part. Yeah. So there was 5 speakers. There was Philip Brown, who led it. Dick Spring, chairman, introduced it. Philip Brown. Then I spoke after that. In between, so there's a video before me, the Niamh Briggs one, and then there was another one.
Bob Geldof
after me. No, that's introduced later on. Why am I didn't introduce the Niamh Briggs one. Yeah, no, maybe I didn't introduce the Geldof one. Was there a third video? Oh, there was the stadium one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's 3 videos. So then David Sterling, who's head of civil service up north, was representing, I suppose, the politicians that aren't in situ there.
Yeah.
And he was speaking about how the one thing that they are agreed upon up north, even though they're having difficulties of their own, is that we want to host this Rugby World Cup, and they're fully united behind it. And then Kieran McLaughlin from the Ireland Funds got up and spoke, talked about the diaspora and the reach, particularly in North America, that we can take advantage of because of the 70 million Irish around the world. He spoke fantastically well, and then the Taoiseach spoke after that, and then Philip summed it all up, and then there was some questions and answers, which again Philip Brown took an awful lot of those himself, and he was really top class. Like the first answer, everyone was just kind of looking at him. His knowledge of stats and all of the detail that he needed to know, it banged of someone that had done an insane amount of research and knew exactly what he had to deliver. And it wasn't just churning out and nonsense behind it. He was very specific with hitting targets that they were the question they were looking for.
Yeah, because so the South Africans and the French came with bigger numbers at this point, kind of like, oh, from my back pocket I magically have found this extra cash down the back of and maybe it's believable. I mean, it probably isn't believable, but it's like it's you go big with those things at the last minute, and that's the worry, really. But if you've got facts to back up everything, like it sounds like Philip Brown had, then that lends that credibility to our bid. The other bids have had their difficulties the whole way along.
Yeah, if you remember too, and people aren't aware of this, the World Rugby hasn't always gone for the biggest offer in the past. So that's not the be all and end all. There's lots of components to this, and obviously, growing the game is one aspect, and I suppose we're trying to sell that. Equally, France and South Africa will be selling the fact that they've hosted it before and it's been a success. So it depends on what way you're looking at it. But there are lots of components to any bid process about filling stadia, about growing the game, about the memories that you'll be able to create, the proximity of team bases to stadia, where and that's one of the strengths of us. Our stadia are right in the towns and city centres. You don't have to jump on a train and for an hour out and an hour back, and you lose the momentum of a night of huge atmosphere, and then all of a sudden it's dead by the time you get back into town. That's not going to be the case with us. So I think we had to project all the real positives that we had on our side, as much as the other two nations were doing likewise. But I feel our overall offering is incredibly competitive, and the overall financial package, only World Rugby will truly know that,
and how important that is.
And how
obviously it's massively important.
It is very important because 90% of what they do over the course of the 4 years comes from the Rugby World Cup. So yes, they can't get it wrong, but they won't get it wrong with Ireland. We will totally embrace this, and it'll be a World Cup as I don't even know it was an intentional line, but a World Cup like no other. It really won't be. We won't be trying to imitate anything. We'll be doing our own thing. And I've seen in the past how Ireland reacts to having big sporting events or big events by our standards here, and how much the whole country weighs in behind it.